But Robin Hood hits episode 6. And again, for as different as it is than Welcome to Derry, I find the pacing of this show very enjoyable. This episode was a slow burn. They fleshed out ideas, concepts, alliances. The Queen is becoming a very prominent character. We get a great reveal at the end, or a great realization, as Huntington dumps a whole lot of info on Marion that she may or may not have had, which was kind of clutch. Like, of course, it had to be him that told her. That was awesome.
Yeah.
It was pretty savage, right? But a lot of that kind of building block material that they laid out early is now going to pay off now. We've seen how these characters have come along. We've seen where the allegiances within the cliques are going to go. They introduce a new character, kind of like the Baroness, who I didn't know why the Queen was even bothered talking to her during that dinner sequence. I'm like, who is this chick? Where has she been for 6 episodes?
So
why is she addressing
probably
the Queen?
she's the wife of the Baron nearby, who's probably bedridden and couldn't come, and that's why he couldn't answer the call of the sheriff to go hunt Locksley.
Oh, they did. Oh, yes, they did mention that. That was like
Yeah.
episode 4, I think. Yes. Okay. I'd forgotten about that. That makes
So
more
she
sense.
showed in his
Makes
stead.
sense. I'm thinking to myself, why is the Queen taking lip from this random chick? But she punked her solid. She's like, hey, you got something right here. Got a giant golf ball sized mole. Like, that was pretty savage. Queen's got some mouth on her. I like her. I like her a lot. She's a solid character. I think she's a good addition. I like where they're taking the story, how they're taking their liberties with the classic tale and making this now about how maybe Robin Hood suits my needs. I'd like to meet him. You know what I mean? That's an interesting dynamic they've set up in this episode, which is solid. And then, of course, no arrangement comes without strings. She has a very dangerous, very high profile task for him to complete. And if he does, he's free. Marion's free. Everybody lives happily ever after until Marion finds out what happened.
So I got a long how this thing works with other Robin Hood's theory that I can spin into, but let's just talk about the episode.
I'm getting comfortable if you want to drop that on me right now.
But as we get into this story, let's go ahead and hit that warning one more time.
Here we are.
One more time.
Spoil.
All right. So the Queen goes up to Nottingham in this one, and she has a plan where she's trying to get her husband home from France. Her ailing, aging husband, who she kind of wants dead because she wants her son, Richard.
Kind of, sort of.
So that's why she realizes she could use Locksley to her advantage and tries to make up a conspiracy that the Welsh are financing him and starting a rebellion.
Right.
I mean, nothing gets a king off his butt faster than a rebellion. Let me tell you, because that impacts the treasury, and you never mess with the king's treasury. Mess with my money, you mess with my emotions.
Smoky. Exactly. Don't want to do that.
So that was the whole thing, and I thought it was very cleverly done, like how she's using Marian. And let's talk about Marian and the Queen alone after that meeting up in the Queen's chamber, where she's like, "That's very bold of you from a chamber woman." And she's like, "I thought you wanted more than a chamber woman." She's like, "Well played."
Yep. She's like, she hit him with the whole, as the kids are saying, game recognized game.
Yeah,
pretty much. And I thought that was solid. And again, so I mean, there's these little micro beats with a bunch of the characters that show that they're coming along a little bit. Marion's one of them, because I was worried early on that she was just going to stay and even Priscilla hits it with the joke in this episode about her dying the virginal archetype hero or whatever. I'm like, that also came along also, no pun intended.
Yeah.
So that character is changing. Rob is obviously changing a little bit from where he started. We already pointed that out a couple weeks ago. There's not a whole lot of crying going on anymore. There's a whole lot of like Batman Punisher level of anger and resentment, but even he's starting to mellow that back a bit as he realizes what he's responsible for. Lil Jon gave him the whole speech on that. He basically did the whole, anybody can wear the hood. Lil Jon's like, yeah, anybody could, but everybody's coming here for you, bro. So maybe you just want to keep that shit on for a little while longer.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're doing they did several of the things, right?
Yeah.
We got the merry men building the camp. That's coming along. I'm like, okay, they're doing the thing. And then there were 2 episodes where there were 2 instances of the episode where I said, oh, they said the thing. The Queen said the title, She said,
Prince of Thieves.
Bound by love, divided by lies. And then she
Yep.
said, good night, Robin Hood. Good night, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Oh, she said the other thing. Yay. Yeah. Got a little excited. I was like, I love when they say the thing, right? Even if it's cheesy. But it worked. I want more out of the supporting cast in this one. I need more Tuck. I think he doesn't need to have a big old exposition dump or a big moral chat with Rob every episode, but he's thin in this one, and I like the guy. I want to see him do more of that.
I like him, and I like Little John. I think those are my two favorite merry men right there.
Yeah, and as they should be. They're Rob's left and right hands. That's
exactly, and then you see the triangle starting to build as Ralph is getting into Mr. Rob there.
Yeah, bro, we need to use her real name and not call her Ralph if she's going to
Marilyn.
Anything with Robert. It's going to be weird. Whatever it is. Marilyn, Marian. I don't know what the fuck it is.
Bethany, something.
It's Crystal, Ambrosia. I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what her name is. I couldn't resist. She's doing now the awkward, I have a crush on you thing because you saved my life. And there was that where she gave him the bracer, right?
The Florence Nightingale treatment.
A little bit of that, for sure. I wanted that there was that line he hit her with where he said, it's like, you saved my life. He said, you'd have done the same for me. She said, I would have preferred her to have said, no, I wouldn't have before, but now I'm yours. And like that whole like life debt Azim thing from Prince of Thieves. Like there might have been some more weight thrown on like that. Cause as it is now she's gone from stalwart badass protector of her special needs brother and her idiot other brother to like doting high school kid with a crush. And I don't think you can shift gears between those two traits like that. I don't know if that works for me. What do you think of that character in general, though? Or how do you like her progression?
I don't know how this is going to play out, other than she becomes the traitor that gives up the camp because he's jealous. Yeah.
But dude, I mean, do you really see that coming? Given how the big reveal at the end is Marian, and actually, let me pick your brain on this. Marian realizes at the end when her father tells her explicitly, "Rob was there when your brother died. He might have been the one that shot him." I don't get how this is not common knowledge. I don't get how the entire planet doesn't know that nobody put two and two together and figured out that Robert of Locksley is Robin Hood. Nobody figured this out.
We have figured this out. We have our theory, and it is they are dumb.
Oh, it's the Superman Clark Kent thing. Glasses, no glasses. Hood, no hood. Like that's the difference. The guy's been wearing the same fucking clothes for 6 weeks, dude. It's him.
Yeah, you can smell him coming.
Like. It's like I'm already semi-annoyed by that because you see this coming very early on in this episode where Rob, for some reason, goes back to his old home, goes back to the Huntington Manor, and Marion's there. And I'm like, wait, how did he know to go there? And then like, you got my letter because sent the letter. I'm like, okay, you've at least said how. That's fine. I'll give you that, right? But then he's like, he says, well, I don't remember what this. I can't remember what the setup was. She says something to him in that conversation. He goes, I know how to find him. Or I know of him, or there's a line there, and it might have been about her brother's death, where he's like, he purposely used the word he used to set up the whole she'll find out later that I was there when her brother died.
He tried to tell her, and she interrupted him.
Is that what happened? Was that the flow of conversation? Okay.
He's like, there's something I gotta tell you, and she's like, I know. It's like you're a man on the run too, and
yeah, okay, all right, it was that.
Yeah,
but I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, you guys only did that so you could facilitate Huntington being like King Dick, and be like, bro killed your brother. I don't know. That's how it happened.
That's pretty much it. But let's talk about something. And I was pointing this out. Like the editor of this show needs to go back and watch some YouTube videos because first off, that is the longest walk from the gate to the middle of that field because the sun's up. And then it's pitch dark.
Dude, it's dark. It's dark AF, which is why I thought it was going to be a Marian dream sequence. I thought it was, oh my God, Rob finally came back and then she was going to wake up in the palace or wherever the fuck she was. No, that shit actually happened the way we saw it.
That was the longest short walk where they said nothing ever in cinematic history.
Dude, nobody in this town, including the sheriff, who by all accounts is not a stupid person, you couldn't put two and two together that, hey, we hung this dude's dad and then he shot that guy and then also a masked vigilante has appeared and then rescued all that guy's friends that we know are his friends. The two and the two, they didn't link up. It took a third guy to drop a dime on the whole thing and be like, hey, this arrow we pulled out of your daughter's arm, the feathers have been cut a certain way. Only one dude ever did that. Oh, wait, he'd probably show his son how to do that. Like, I don't know. I know a bunch of shit I haven't told my kid. But that's a positive ID at that point. That's the DNA of the day.
Yep.
Stop it. You cut arrows this way. Oh, fucking, it's him.
And then, if we want to go back to the editing for one more thing.
Who is also an archer. Hold on, because the Oracle just said, who is also an archer and whose name starts with Rob. And it ain't like his name is like Jackson or like Michael or David or anything like that. No. It's the same shit. It's the same 3 letters. Stop it. I know none of y'all can read, but like some of you all think
different because homeboy who was the poacher was like, this is Rob in the Hood.
Right. Dude, apparently everybody in Nottingham exists on the level you were at where you tried to gaslight me and telling me the guy Robin shot wasn't the captain of the guard. Maybe you could work for Nottingham. I don't know.
I could.
Maybe they need to call you up. I don't know. Because that's where they're at. Like nobody has put 2 and 2 together, and they drop this on your lap like it's the biggest reveal in history. Like it's Capone's vault being opened, like Nothing Burger, but like they want you to think that this is gonna smash hard. You're like, no, Marion, it was Rob. Same dude.
We all
and
knew
you
this.
boned him. Congrats.
If you think about it for 2 seconds,
surprised. That's what I'm saying.
But back to the editing.
Literally, that's my the editing now.
So we're there and we're watching where Ralph gives him the gauntlet, to protect his wrist from when he shoots arrows.
Bracer.
Yeah, the bracer.
Bracer.
And then she gives him a kiss, and somehow this takes 3 short jump cuts,
right?
Where she's here, then she kisses him with the jump
out of the
and then she's like, then she had like the rubber band action. She's like 15 feet away from him.
Dude, I think what they were going for, and maybe they had like 10 takes of this, and they couldn't time it right or something. I think she was going in for the slow lean kiss to see if he'd kiss her back, and when he didn't flinch, they had to cut 5 frames to get her back here, so then she could come in for the cheek kiss. I think that's what happened. Like, but you couldn't just tell the actors to do that. Like, bro, don't respond to her kiss. You try to kiss him, but then like realize you don't want it, and then kiss him on the side.
Yeah, you don't over that.
You said they had to chop up.
You're blocking the scene.
Yeah.
All you, the only other thing you do is move the camera. They do the same thing over and over again. You just move the camera, change the lens.
Right. Yeah, no. I thought that was a bit. That was a bit on the herky jerky. It did look a little odd.
Like there's a couple times where I said that's a bad cut in this, and like during other episodes as well. I'm like that's a bad cut.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything
has a bad cut here or there.
When you're watching something and you can notice the cut, it's a bad cut.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Anything that has that kind of runtime is bound to have at least one hiccup somewhere in like the editing or, how something works.
One of the worst cuts of all time comes in Taken 3, where he's jumping over the fence, where 63-year-old Liam Neeson is jumping over the fence, and they use 23 jump cuts to make it seem faster.
Just get a stunt guy. Honestly, just get a stunt guy. One take, But this episode, not high on the action. Well, it wasn't a whole lot of no fists being thrown.
There was a lot of tension, a lot of arguing, some raising the stakes on certain people.
I thought Huntington was going to get himself cooked at that dinner, stepping out like he did, flipping his plate,
trying to flip the table.
Those tables had some IKEA table, dude. That's like some heavy ass oak.
No, that's like solid oak. That's like real.
You
oak.
Can't flip that.
You're
that's
not
just
flipping
900 pounds. I don't care how mad you are. You ain't flipping that.
No,
like he flips the
not without help.
Like he tried, and he's like, "Fuck it." And he hits the plate. I figured the queen was going to hand him his nutsack, and then she just was like, "You may go," because he bowed his head. I mean, he semi apologized. I guess
because he knew he couldn't sit back.
They
down
set him up for the decorum thing, the decorum speech game. Right. But the sheriff set him up with the decorum thing, and then he doesn't have any, which was good. And then this dude, he's drunk and belligerent, and basically outs the sheriff as not having control. And I'm like, dude, good escalation there of tension between these two. So she's the queen's punking up on the bishop, wrecking on his necklace and everything. What's the price of salvation these days? And he fumbles, and she's like, anyway.
Yeah, I'm done with you.
Like, yeah, fuck him. Don't care. Yep. So I like this Queen character. Again, she's a good. I think she's an effectively written female character for the time period that, again, is never going to pick up a long sword and like duel one of these dudes.
No,
Like, I'm just
she's
glad that we're
definitely
doing this
someone with
show.
poison or hiring someone with a knife in the back type queen.
Yep. Saying cat's paws, roundabout ways to get things done, sticking to what she told Marion in episode 2 or whenever, 4, whenever she showed up. Just because we're stuck here doesn't mean we don't have power. And she very much flexes the power. She flexes power on Robin in the end. You know, she's like, "Oh, you don't look so dangerous to me. Let's talk. No guards." Like that. It takes sack to do that because they did not fully disarm him for that conversation. Like, I think they just took.
I did like how they just left him. They're all leaving, and he's like, "Can I get my bow, please? My arrows? I got a plane ticket.
Can I get a ride? kind of dark out here. Hello,
anybody?
It'd be like that. It was like that a little bit. But I like where that's. I definitely like where it's going, and I want it to keep going in interesting ways that allow this show to go on for more than a season, like we had talked about. I think the week before last, where we said if this just wraps the story of like Rob versus the sheriff, and it looks like it's obviously much bigger than that now, especially with the Queen kind of putting out the design she has. I'm glad for that because I want more than a one-off now that this world has evolved into having more players and more places. I think we're gonna meet the king. I think we'll probably meet both of the sons probably in season 2. Like we'll get a Richard and a John. We'll be able to see like their warring person. I think everything's gonna go very Game of Thrones, House of Dragons with factions within the family kind of thing. So I think it's gonna go.
Which leads us to the King Z theory of the night going forward for the long game, not this season, the long game.
Which is what, like season 3 or season 9? Like we're like define your terms, sir.
Just listen, and then you can put the terms in there. So as you see that young Rob of Locksley, of Sherwood, Robin Hood, if you may, he's there and he's going to work for the Queen, and he's going to cause this disruption that she asked for. They're going to become outlaws with purpose. And then from there, they are going to lower out the king and kill the king and put Richard on the throne. And in doing so, he's going to be rewarded with his land back. But the thing is, Huntington's going to switch sides, and he's going to back the Queen against the sheriff. And he's going to be granted the Sheriff of Nottingham title. So
I can see that.
But Locksley's going to have his land back, and he's going to become Rob of Locksley. He liked the name Robin, so he names his and Marion's child Robin of Locksley. He is going to join Richard's crusade to the Holy Land and come back and realize that the sheriff and Prince John, who he's loyal to, has taken, and we see the events of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. So that's how that happens. And then he comes back and he lives his dad's adventure by rebuilding the Thieves of Sherwood.
I could see a lot of that happening there. I think that gives them some room to maneuver within a couple of the broader kind of guideposts of the legend as we know it and some of the other forms of the story that we've seen. That could absolutely work. Not again. I've already done that once.
He's already lost his head once. And it was done by
already happened once. In very similar, well, no, the kid didn't do it.
He ordered it.
He ordered it, but Ilan Payne's the one that did him. Yeah, I can't see Sean Bean get decapitated again. Once was enough. But having said that, that's Robin Hood, episode 6.